former prisoners of war have been describing their time in Russian captivity. Among them were second-rank Captain Denis Gritsenko, commander of the tugboat Yane Kape Oleg Melnichuk, sailor Andriy Artemenko, and finally engine operator Andriy Oprysko. They spoke about what worried them most during the early days of captivity.
I think, and it wasn't just for me, but for every one of us, it was the lack of communication with our families. When we finally got the message that our families were alive and well, then we were prepared for anything. The main thing is that back home, everything was fine.
In November last year, they, along with 20 others, were captured by the Russian Coast Guard in neutral waters off the coast of Crimea. The released sailors thanked journalists, volunteers, and Ukrainian consul for their full support. Their plight attracted media attention not just in Ukraine, but also abroad. The service personnel received letters of support from Europe, the United States, and Australia. During the press conference, Denis Gritsenko showed us the cards and crafts that school children had sent them, whilst the sailors were behind bars.
The support of loved ones and the letters from children, it's a separate story. I can't even describe it. Ukraine's Ministry of Education sent us 2 packages with letters from children. I want to show them to you. For other military, it was also emotional. When it was hard, I opened to these letters and they gave me strength. Ships with support. It's powerful. It's our future, and we will do everything for this future.
This summer, one more crew member returned from Russian captivity. It was Jessie the dog, which was later adopted by the family of one of the sailors, Serhiy Chuliba.
I was told that one of our prisoners of war had already been released in a swap. I did not understand who it was. Then they showed me that it was the dog. I realized that we would be next. If the dog, the 25th member of our crew, was released, I was sure that Ukraine was fighting for us and we would return home.
We've heard a lot of harrowing accounts about November 25th last year when 24 Ukrainian sailors were passing through the Kerch Strait. Before leaving Odessa, they were warned about possible provocations by Russia. However, the crew commander thought that the Russian security forces wouldn't plan to attack and seize the 3 vessels. A Russian-controlled court in occupied Crimea arrested them on charges of illegal border crossing. As per the decision of the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, the Ukrainian sailors and the vessels were to be immediately returned home. However, Russia refused to comply with the ruling, and eventually Ukrainian sailors were released in a prisoner swap on September 7th. Reported by Anna Romanovska for UATV.